Hey guys, we made it to the hit entertainment era of Barney and Friends, and today we're going to be talking about Barney and Friends Season 7, so why not talk about its history and see if the season holds up? After the sixth season of Barney and Friends, the show went on a hiatus once again. Then it was announced that Lyric Studios and PBS reached a deal to produce 40 episodes to premiere between 2002 and 2003. And it would have taken place at Barney's house, which will cover them eventually. However, it was scrapped, and since the death of Richard Leach and Lyric Studios struggling to keep alive, it would eventually be folded into Hit Entertainment. Barney creator Cheryl Leach briefly returned to consult the changes, such as a train depot, and then they decided to go with the caboose and decided to make the park. And it will be a mix of a private and public location setting, and thus the caboose and park settings are settled upon, and it would remain that way for the rest of the series. As the series celebrated 10 years of airing on PBS up to that point, the series was filmed at Hit Entertainment Studios in Carrollton, Texas. Sorry if I just butchered that. The season introduced a lot of new characters, with the notable exception being Nick, because he made his first appearance in Come On Over to Barney's House beforehand, unless if you count Whitney, who appeared in the trailer of said video. This season, including Season 8, which will cover the season next time, are notable for launching acting careers and breakout celebrities Selena Gomez and Demi Lovato, who portrayed Gianna and Angela, respectively. Now let's talk about the Barney performers and the dinosaurs. Longtime Barney performer Carrie Stinson took over the role as Barney after David Joyner's departure, and I gotta say, he is pretty good as Barney. It may be different compared to Joyner's performances, but he does have his moments and still keeps the signature 360 spin, the bell kicks, etc. But Stinson does make it his own thing, and that's the performance that I'm familiar with, just like Joyner. As for the costume itself, it looks really good. Barney's teeth became higher and thinner, his eyes got bigger, his head became rounder and narrow a little bit, Barney's tail is shorter and less curly towards the end, and he shares the resemblance of all of the Lyric era Barney costumes. Now we move on to Baby Bop, and this costume is similar to the 1996 version, but the eyelashes are slightly more flatter than before, and the ears are smaller and thinner, and most of all, instead of bobbing the mouth, they added a mouth mechanism to her. And this isn't the first time that they did this. That honor goes to the Hakamam Shalbani, the co-production in Israel. Jeff Ayers is still there, continuing performing Baby Bop as usual. However, Ayers was out due to surgery, so Jennifer Romano Gibble was brought in to perform her in BJ's Really Cool House, the final installment of the series, and the final time performing her overall. Baby Bop was good in the season, but I'm starting to see some slip-up cracks going out of character, such as terrific manners, for instance. And I swear, Baby Bop will become less and less flanderized as time went on. Now we move on to BJ. Just like his sister, he was given a mouth mechanism. However, when you watch Come Blow Your Horn, the mechanism was present on BJ for 7 minutes, and for the rest of the episode, Kyle Nelson bobbed the head. Oh yeah, speaking of which, Kyle Nelson joined the cast for the role of BJ after Jeff Brooks' departure, and my thoughts, he did great performing the character, giving him a great amount of energy, and he would continue performing the character until 2009. As for the BJ design itself, the head was rounder and wider to accommodate the jaw, but unfortunately, the mechanism was short-lived due to difficulties of the mechanism being added. Now let's talk about the elephant in the room. You see, Barney was supposed to be voiced by Tim Dever in the season, but due to family tragedy, he had to be dismissed. So Dean Went, a DJ and producer on Radio Disney, was brought in to voice Barney, and he would stick with it until 2013 and returned in 2019. Went gave Barney a nasally tone, making him squeaker and somewhat high, similar to Tim Dever and Duncan Brandon at the time.
At night, the conductor would use all those colors to tell the train's engineer different things. A band? A real root toot toot band?
But over time, his voice got a little bit deeper and making him less nasal and having a cheerful extension to his own natural voice, which I think it's kind of unique.
I'm sure it does. The bathroom is very important because it's where we go to get nice and clean.
I know that people had mixed feelings on Dean, or wasn't as good as the previous Barney voice actors, but like I said before, he does make it his own thing, so I have some nostalgic connection to him, and he became my second favorite Barney voice actor for Barney the Dinosaur. The episodes in this season are enjoyable. All Aboard is a pretty good episode, trying to cheer up Cammy by being a conductor for the day, after explaining a caboose is a very important part of a train. Puppy Love is a really good episode because of Bingo being a really cute dog, Duffy introducing everyone to her guide dog, and going onto Barney's laptop to see various kinds of dogs. An interesting thing to point out is that there are two different versions of this episode. Mr. Boyd was in the park looking for Bingo in the first version, but in the two home media releases, Barney and the kids were looking for Bingo without him. Another fun fact is Maurice Scott performs Barney during What a Baseball Day, and there's no explanation as to why. Maybe Carrie doesn't know how to catch things while inside the Barney costume yet. Also, is it just me, or the cutting between Scott and Stinson is just jarring? A New Friend is a pretty good episode of Mr. Grady Boyd, and yes, that's his actual name, introducing to his niece, Colleen. One interesting thing that I like about Colleen is that she's like the only character to have one hand instead of two, which in this case, she has congenital amputees. Too bad that this was her only season appearance along with season 8. Bunches of Boxes is a good episode where the kids and the dinos use their imaginations of turning the empty cardboard boxes into something special. And my absolute favorite episode is A Parade of Bikes. Cammy and Sarah are preparing for a bike parade, but when Nick arrived and he had an accident on his bike, Mr. Boyd was offered to fix it in time for the parade. Barney and Friends Season 7 airs 20 episodes from September 2nd to November 22nd of 2002. The episodes would eventually be released on VHS and DVD by Hit Entertainment. Then a couple of years later, they would add a couple of episodes on DVD as bonus episodes or without them from 2005 and early 2017. And now you can find the season on streaming services such as Tubi and the Roku channel. However, they use the international prints rather than the prints used for America on PBS. In conclusion, I think Barney and Friends Season 7 is a good start to the Hit Entertainment era. The characters are great. Joseph Phillips did good as a permanent role as the music director. The magic effects and some bits of animation were awesome, and it's really good to watch. But because Baby Bob's character was starting to dwindle a little bit, I'm just going to give this season a 9 out of 10. And that concludes today's episode. I hope you enjoy it. Make sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe if you want to. And let me know what are your thoughts on the particular season. This is Draven Edwards signing off, and I'll see you next time once we get into Season 8.